Senator Durbin.
Mr. Weingarten, do you think the January 6th riot at the Capitol was protected free speech?
I think to the extent there was peaceful protest, that's free speech, and when it bleeds into violence, to action, that's when it certainly crosses a line.
So you believe that some of the individuals who received full and unconditional pardons by the President of the United States had, in fact, crossed the line and were guilty of criminal conduct?
This is beyond the scope of what I prepared to discuss today, but in my personal opinion as a non-lawyer, yes, I believe some people committed crimes.
Well, they certainly did. 140 policemen were assaulted by these rioters. I'm on a policeman's side. I hope you are too.
I am.
Well, a full and unconditional pardon to some of these folks is incredible. Jake Lang, charged with assaulting police during January 6th, announced he plans to run for Senate in Florida. He's pretty emboldened by that pardon, isn't he? You don't have to answer that question. Let me ask you what the word wrong think means. Did you make that up?
If I did make it up, I'd be happy to take credit for it, and my definition of it would be speech that flouts the orthodoxy of our political establishment and cultural elites.
Interesting. I'll put that in my research bag to look at a little later. But you said whole of society war. I don't know what that means. Can you define that?
Well, whole of society is actually a phrase that the Biden administration used in any number of documents that could be relevant to...
I missed it. What does it mean?
Whole of society means government working hand in hand with civil society to achieve some sort of outcome, as I understand it.
Do you think that's inherently wrong or insidious?
I think on its face, it's potentially chilling when you have government and civil society working hand in glove, because that blurring of the line between civil society and the state can cross into potentially draconian methods and outcomes.
Do you think President George W. Bush was guilty of that when he mobilized America against the events of 9/11?
Senator, in the context of this hearing, my view of it is that when government works hand in glove with civil society to purge disfavored speech, that certainly crosses a line, and it's significantly different, in my view, from mobilizing support for a war effort.
Very subjective. Dr. Franks, I'm going to let you finish answer to this question. I think this attack on law firms for representing unpopular clients, unpopular with this administration, is one of the most dangerous developments I've seen in the violation of basic free speech. I come to mind immediately John Adams. What would have happened to poor John Adams representing those British soldiers if the incumbent president decided to punish him for that? What do you think about the future of legal representation as these law firms, at least one of them, has reached an agreement and settlement with the Trump administration?
I very much share your alarm about those actions because, as you mentioned, access to the courts is a very key principle of our freedoms. And to threaten law firms that are trying to do what all of us should rely on, which is to defend people's rights in courts, is extremely chilling. And it is one of those ways where we're seeing just really a comprehensive assault by this administration, not only directly to try to round up people, surveil them, deport them for their speech, but also to try to disable the levers that they can defend themselves with and to punish businesses for acting on their own principles.
Mr. Rotman, not much subtlety in saying to the Associated Press, if you use the term Gulf of Mexico, you're not welcome in the White House. Is there?
It is explicit viewpoint discrimination that underpins retaliatory actions by the White House, and that makes it a First Amendment violation.
And deportation of individuals for making statements, political statements, where would you characterize that?
So the authority that's been invoked, so I come at it from the freedom of the press perspective, but what's notable about some of those cases is they're relying on a statute that explicitly allows immigration enforcement actions based on the speech of the person the action's being taken against, and that's of great concern for the press.
Thank you very much to all of you, and I hope that you'll say thank you to the men and women in the Capitol Police when you leave, who are keeping you safe today as they did in my situation on January 6th with the rioters. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Blackburn.